Hey again, faith, family, and welcome again to this next video for discipleship training. Grant Janik here. Again, wanting to put all of these together here in our home, our household. If you know a little bit about our life, on September 27th, 2024, a hurricane slapped our house, and then our whole back half of the house had to be rebuilt. And we're very grateful for some amazing friends, kind builders that helped us build in a little bit back a better home and a renewed home that we've been so grateful for. And so I'm just bringing you into our home, our space in some ways, and wanting to take what is one of my most passionate points and perspectives in ministry, discipleship, and do my best to make it real and to make it personal to you. Each of these videos are meant to be videos, whether you're jumping into one of our discipleship training classes or you're just DIY, doing it yourself, going through these videos to receive training and encouragement regarding the Growing Up book by Robbie Gallaty. My hope and my prayer is that as you watch each of these, you will be encouraged to be not only a maturing disciple following after Christ, but that you will be a mature disciple who makes disciples and makes mature disciples who then will go on to make other mature disciples, and so on and so on and so on. Well, I have you in our kitchen for a particular reason. Right now, today, I'm shooting this video literally 11 days after the last video that I shot. And if you remember in discipleship training video 1 that I showed a video with this coffee cup that was up here in this cabinet. Well, I'm not even joking. I'm not even making this up. Today, 11 days later, I was walking around in our kitchen early this morning trying to look for something. And so I literally just think, I'm going to start looking in random places. And I open this cupboard, and guess who's, so to say, sneaking a peek at me from up on high? It is that Jesus mug. It is that Jesus coffee cup. So I grabbed it and I thought, suspecting the worst but hoping for the best, oh, please don't let there be anything in there. And oh my goodness, I looked at what was in there and it was absolutely disgusting. Now, obviously, I want Jesus to be way more important than coffee. But if you remember the illustration is this. What is discipleship? What is the idea of making disciples? It's walking your journey with Jesus, turning back, finding another Jesus Christ follower, and doing everything that y'all both can to become more devoted, more fully devoted followers of Jesus Christ. Well, as one of my friends pointed out, we kind of have Jesus up there, but it's not enough to just keep Jesus in the cupboard. I love what even Jesus himself teaches, ASK, ask, seek, and knock. We've got to open the door and we've got to keep fresh connection to Jesus in so many ways. That's why I believe that some of these spiritual disciplines that we're going to learn from Robbie Gallaty's book on leading ourselves to the Lord, reading his word, praying to him all day, sharing our faith and evangelizing to a lost and dying world. We've got to keep a fresh connection of faith. Otherwise, like what was in here earlier this morning, we're going to have a pretty stale, so to say, relationship, a pretty stagnant relationship. And can I just say, it's not going to be good in the end. Now, if I can, I do want to make one more picture while I'm in the kitchen right here. This was so energizing and exciting to kind of think of. We recently have been here in the month of February 2026. We recently have been watching some of the Olympics, and I think it's so cool. One of the coolest things that I love in the Winter Olympics are those speed skaters. Remember, they're speed skating, things like that. Then they will sometimes reach back and they will grab a fellow member, a fellow speed skater, and they will, so to say, launch them or propel them forward. Once again, that's a great picture of what discipleship is. We're running this race called faith, and what we're doing is we're reaching back to grab the hand of someone else to help them learn to run the race and maybe even propel them forward in their race of following Jesus. Well, all the same, our biggest hope and our biggest prayer is that we would be a people of God that not only are mature disciples, mature followers of Christ, but that our main goal, aim, and passion is to help others to become more mature followers of Christ. Disciples who make disciples. Welcome to our living room. I always love to point out this fun, joy-filled painting right here, completed by my daughter, Millie, and my wife's mother, we affectionately call her Honey. Thus, we have the initials right down here. It was a Millie and Honey picture or a Millie and Honey production, which is a sweet thing and a neat thing. Well, hey, want to just get you to please get your copy of this book, Growing Up, Robbie Gallaty. Each of these videos that I want to do are meant to be kind of, in a way, a review and also a preview of what is to come. Now, also, I hope that you've gotten a copy of, so to say, this whole book on one sheet of paper, or maybe in a way, the most important things from this book on one sheet of paper. I hope and pray that you'll get this out because I want to review a few things and preview a few things as well. Also, if you're following online or on your own digitally, I've posted this and put this on to my online note so that you can be able to have assessment for this. Now, let me just show you a little picture of what I want with this. My hope and my prayer is that you will take this one pager and that you'll put it right here. And then one day, I hope and pray that as you have the opportunity to lead and disciple others, I hope and pray that you'll be able to pull this one pager out and teach them things just as well. Maybe make a photocopy of this, get in touch with me, with our office, and know that I would love for you to have the opportunity to lead others and teach others through this. Well, if you don't mind, I do want to read through a couple of aspects and points and point out a few key things. First of all, hopefully, if you haven't already gone over this, I want you to know some of my biggies and favorites from the book. Of course, one of the most important things on page 197 in our book, we're going to see that in just a minute, looking at what is a H.E.A.R journal. What is a H.E.A.R journal? And really, how do we interact with it? Things like that. To tell you completely honestly, I'm just going to go ahead and show you page 197. You don't have to turn there right now. But all that I have done with this simple H.E.A.R journal on page 197, all that I've done is I've kind of expounded upon it. I've grown it up a little bit as I've been teaching this method to so many different students and so many different adults. I've kind of just taken it and I've, so to say, alliterated it in some more ways. I've added a little bit to it and I've kind of done my best to make it a little more memorable, if you will. So just want you to know that that's kind of the idea of the H.E.A.R journal method in a nutshell. Then on the back side of the sheet, if you're in our live classes, of course, you will see and know and experience everything that we're doing as live elements. I will encourage you to do this. Maybe get a pen or a highlighter. I failed to embolden or to put it out as an outset, but each of our life work assignments, again, I think that life work is so much better than homework. Again, these are life investments, but for each of these assignments that you read, my hope and my prayer is that you will see these as moments or opportunities to do life work. And so if you would, I'd love to challenge you, go and kind of etch out or circle out or put in brackets each of those life work assignments, because between each class or between each of these videos, the hope is that you will do these life work assignments. Again, we're taking what could be done, really honestly, probably should be done in about 10 to 20 weeks, and we're putting it into a power-packed 6-week program, and we're trying to do the best that we can to lead you to be a disciple who then will make disciples. By the way, can I let you in on a few of our secrets? When you get a group that you will be discipling. Now listen, I want this to be an invited thing. This is not a required thing or a mandated thing, at least not from a guy named Grant Janik. But I will let you know, this is something that we truly are commanded to do. So I'm not going to say it's a mandate from Grant, but this is a mandate for every believer. So again, my hope and my prayer is that this will grow you up as a disciple to become a disciple maker. Well, listen to this. What we're wanting to teach you in these few videos, in these few sessions, in these training sessions, is then for you to take these exact same things, use these same videos, maybe have a class or bring your group through a class like this, but then for you to get books, or let your people pay you for the books. You can buy them for them or they can pay for their own. But then for y'all to get books, to take, so to say, these tips, pro tips, and cheat sheet, and for you to be able to go through these same things together with your disciples. Truly, honestly, it's whatever Jesus did, we want to copy and paste it to the next generation, to the next generation, to the next generation. I want to copy and paste whatever Jesus did to me, and I want to paste it to you. And my hope, my prayer is that you will then copy it and then paste it to others. So let the copy and paste commission continue on, not only to you, but ultimately through you. Then I've got, of course, a review of some of the things that are some great pages and great page takeaways. All right, if you will, turn to this front sheet right here. Summer Grant's MIP's most important pages. And I want to just take a quick look at some of these. Page 28, if you will, open your book with me. We're going to go through a couple of these quick pages right now. Page 28. Just want to make sure that you highlight and circle a couple of things. Page 28 is titled Discipleship Group Goals. Again, I'm looking at that right there. I love this. Look at the last paragraph that is right there. Jump down about a sentence or two to where it says the goal of a D group. Do you see that right there? The goal of a D group. Again, I want you to see some of my book highlightings and most important things so that you can be able to circle and underline them. And then, again, copy and paste them to someone else that will be a disciple that will live beyond you and take this to someone else beyond them. Look at this sentence right here. The goal of a D group is for the mentee to, like copying and pasting, become a mentor, for the player to become a coach. I love that idea. I love that intention. Jump over to page 32 now with me, if you will. Page 32, this idea of being a disciple. Look at the bottom of page 32. Perhaps the most common term used by believers in our day is the word, say it out loud with me, Christian. Okay, again, we're looking at the idea of Christian and how that's different than disciple. Look at the rest of that sentence right there. But do you know how many times Christian appears in the Bible? Only three times. It says them right there. And in two of the occurrences in Acts, which present the history of the term, it was coined as a derogatory slur. Jump down to the next paragraph. On the other hand, the term disciple, I have that word big time underlined and circled. Disciple, it appears 269 times. Quick evaluation, little micro and macro economics. Christian 3 times, disciple 269 times. Which do you think is more important? I think that there's intentionality in being intentional. And I think it's biblical to be intentional, to use the word disciple. We are all disciples and followers. Next, I want you to jump over with me to page 51. 51. I love this section right here. Discipleship in action. 1, 2, 3 main things. What does a discipleship group look like? How does it feel? Look at this first sentence that is on the second paragraph under discipleship in action. Number 1, first, the D group is a closed group. I usually love to coach and encourage. It is a group of 5-ish or less. 1 leader plus 4 followers. It could get down to maybe 3 followers. It could get down to 2. But if you're getting down to a 1-to-1, he even talks about it in the book, how sometimes that doesn't actually feel like a discipleship relationship. It more so feels like a counseling or mentorship. But I'm a firm believer that as long as you are speaking Jesus' words and Jesus' truth, it's discipleship. Whether you do it once for 10 minutes, maybe even 2 minutes, or you meet for 5 years long, all of it is discipleship. But we want to give you some keys and clues on some intentional purposes behind a D group. There's good intention, I believe, for having a closed group. That means it's a closed group for a set amount of time, and that closed group continues to just stay that same group for that set amount of time. Look at the number 2, second one, next paragraph. Second, the purpose of a D group is completely different than a Sunday school class or a Bible study. Look at this. It's completely different. Well, let me finish the sentence right there. Next sentence, I should say. While Sunday school classes and Bible studies exist for the purposes of growth and fellowship, they have an underlying additional purpose, or they should, of evangelism. It's really interesting. Sunday school classes are designed to reach the lost by getting them involved in the group. But a D group, in contrast, consists of believers who desire a deeper walk in Christ. It is not it is not evangelistic in its form or function, but in its fruit, it makes disciples who then make disciples. I love this idea. A D group is not evangelistic in the group, but it's evangelistic through the group. A key concept and a big idea. I hope and I pray that y'all will continue to embody, to take to heart, and then to take it and put some feet to it and to carry it out in mission. Number 3, I love this idea and this thought. Lastly, the setting of a D group is completely different. There's so many different ways that it's different, but it's not to be a lecture. It is meant to be a follow me kind of proposition. Down about halfway through that paragraph, it says that a teacher says, listen to me, but a discipler says, follow me. Okay, let's keep going. Page 114. Jump over there with me, page 114. I'm getting there, and I love this at the bottom of page 114. Now, once we get to chapter 5 and beyond, you're going to see this word closer, C-L-O-S-E-R. And what the author, Robbie Gallaty, is doing with that is he's kind of just drawing a blueprint for how to grow closer. Right here on page 114, we are in chapter 6, which stands for the L, the L of closer. Learn. I'm looking at page 105. That's the beginning of this chapter. Learn, mining for gold. And he goes into and talks about the inductive Bible study method. I always think of it as OIA, OIA, observe, interpret, apply. When you read God's holy book, you take his counsel and you observe what he says. You look to interpret what he said. That's kind of what our our explanation is. And then you ultimately don't just, well, that's nice. It's Bible study and I'm going to leave it here. No, you put it into action. Faith in action. You apply it to your life. So page 114 to me is honestly one of those, so to say, biggest dog-eared pages in this book, because I love what it talks about with the A of Bible study. The A of a H.E.A.R journal is application. A, look at this paragraph right here. Application. How does the text apply to me? The Bible is not merely a book to be learned, but a book to be lived. God has something to say to you through his word, a truth that, when practiced faithfully, will make a difference in your life. This truth called the application of a text is the valuable payoff for all of your hard work in the first 2 steps. The first 2 steps he talks about of observation and interpretation. Okay, there's many other pages. You know what? I'm going to save those for next time because I want to do this and I want to jump to this. I want to just give you a little review and a preview of things to come. If you will, please look quickly with me at this inside page. Just this last time, I'm hoping and praying that you took assignment 1 from meeting 1. If you met in person with a group, with our discipleship training groups, you hopefully got to go through these things, talk through these things, maybe even watch video 1, which was kind of the kickoff for lesson 1. But now I want to go back and review, because my hope and my prayer is that you actually got to read the foreword, actually got to read the introduction. Can I be completely honest with you? In all of the books that I've read, middle school, high school, college, seminary, I'll be honest with you, I think I've probably never read the foreword before, never read the intro before. But when I got to this book, someone encouraged me, Grant, you can't skip the foreword. So I gave it a go. And can I tell you that the foreword gave me the fullest understanding of why this is so important. Why? Because it tells a little bit of the author's story and why this was so impactful and so important for him. You got to know your why. That's so helpful. I hope you read about that in the foreword, the introduction. Then, of course, I talked about page 197. That's the model of the H.E.A.R journal. And then ultimately, chapter 10. Chapter 10 is literally, if I hand this book to someone, I tell them, you got to read the foreword, you got to read the introduction, but the first chapter you have to read is chapter 10. Chapter 10 is one of my favorite, and I hope you've already read it, because it simply lays out the ideals, the designs, the purpose for what I've kind of tried to encapsulate here on this side of the page of what a H.E.A.R journal is. All right, I want to try to take one more minute to preview now what is to come. You're here in video 2, in session 2, I hope and pray, and I want to challenge you that for this next round, between now and the next class or the next video that you would watch, I hope and pray that you will take in chapter 1 and chapter 2. A lot of great points of growth, a lot of intentional things to know and to learn and to read there. And my hope and my prayer is that the next time that we come back, I'll be able to finish out some of those MIPs, most important pages, and then also be able to review chapter 1 and 2 and give another little preview for the chapters that are to come in the next session. Hey, my hope and my prayer ultimately is to let you know, if Jesus is here, I wish I could reach through this screen, reach to you, connect with you, So to say, like those speed skaters in the 2026 Olympics, grab you and do everything I can to sling you forward, to sling you closer, to sling you Godward, to sling you Jesusward, so that you can become a more mature disciple that desires to then make more mature disciples beyond you. Can I just tell you, it's a joy to be with you in this journey. Connect with me. Know that I'd love to connect with you, answer any questions if you have them. And just know this, I'm grateful to God that you've been with us so far. My hope and my prayer is that the world will be changed because we've taken Jesus seriously at the point of being disciples who make disciples. Let's go change the world this week. God bless to you.